Hey, I'm Brian. It's my partner Autumn. To start off, what brought me to Covelo was actually the cannabis industry. I came out to trim a little bit, and in the month I was out here, I fell in love with the country, the openness, the freedom, and saw the potential to be more sustainable and live a life where I could grow my own food and our own livestock and everything like that. And what brought you to Covelo?
Well, I first started coming to Covelo when I was a little kid, so I have family that lives out here. And it was the greatest times of my childhood. Just sitting, like, my grandma had a wood stove, so helping her chop wood and riding the four-wheelers down the creek and playing in the creek and playing with the horses. It was just so different than like suburbia life that I kind of grew up in. And when I ended up getting out on the road and like kind of needing a place to call home, like I always thought of this place. And yeah, I ended up circling back and haven't left since.
Yeah, what kind of kept me here was the potential of living a more sustainable life, one where you can really put intention and think about like everything that you're putting into your body compared to just living out in the city where you're going and getting whatever the quick food is or whatever. You know, it's just like the easiest thing. We're out here, you to drive an hour and a half just to get it to a McDonald's or something like that.
We try to really honor like the cycles and the seasons, celebrate like the solstices and the equinoxes and the midway points between that, celebrate the moon cycles, and just keeping up with that pattern, you know, is a full-time job, you know, like honoring those different steps. It feels like it keeps us really busy.
But it gets you in that like good rhythm of
it's a really natural rhythm.
Yourself.
We sleep and stay real low throughout the winter time. In the summer, you know, we're going really hard with the gardens and everything. And so some aspects of the community do I wish that city people could understand. But just be to like slow down. And what's wonderful living out here is like people don't care if your clothes match or if you're, you know, like have this crazy style or you're, you know, like people here are just like more authentic. So they care more about like what you do and what you want to bring to the community. You know, if you want to come out to a farmer's market and like sell some salads or paint some pictures with some kids, like everybody's just so excited that you're doing anything because there's not much going on here, so we're really excited.
Yeah, something that my mom brought up one time was that like if you go to the grocery store, you're forced to buy the portions they give you. So like a cheese, like a circle of cheese is wrapped in plastic. So like let's say like your whole family's coming over, you want to buy a bunch of cheese, that means you have to buy that many plastics. But if we like did slow down a little bit and like took what we needed and like knew where it came from, because like in Mexico I see them like, one time I saw this guy with a whole dead cow on his shoulders bringing it into the grocery store like to go sell it for meat. So
that's amazing.
Like, kind of like when you're only like eating from the grocery store, you get disconnected where it came from.
Yeah.
And you'd be grossed out by a dead cow, but like that's what you're eating every day.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. Yeah. Cheese is good.
Cheese. Yeah, I like cheese.
Cheese is good.
Cheese is good.
We raise our own animals for meat.
Yeah.
So we get all the little baby turkeys and the goats are born in the spring and then we process them in the fall. And it's, you know, a lot of people are like, how could you, you know, butcher something that you rose from a little baby? And to me, I'm like, I don't know how I could eat anything else that I didn't, you know, hug and see grow up.
I'm not vegan or anything, but if I was, it would only be things from stores, because like what you put your money towards is like
powerful,
really powerful. Yeah,
I know I've heard a lot of stories from, you know, like the government's impact on the climate around here has been pretty sustainable, actually. Like my grandfather tells me stories of how the salmon, you could walk across the backs of them in the rivers, or he'd come up here to hunt back in the 70s when Covelo was just a dirt road to come in.
Oh, yeah.
And he said there's just herds of deer that you could just pick whatever deer you wanted to shoot and then take it home from there. And so to see that now when we only have just a few scattered herds and, you know, the the population is so bad right now. Like we're kind of holding on out here.
Yeah. A thing I really like too about Covelo compared to San Diego is it feels more like connected with the real world instead of just a people world.
Mm-hmm.
In California, I love the land, like the trees, the mountains here, but people build over it, so you feel like you don't live in the real world. Like San Diego is actually great nature, but it's like built all over.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you're in the city, like imagine Central Park was like edible trees, like food trees instead, because the state has to pay for sprinklers anyways. Like,
Yeah, right?
Like it's pretty clear the only reason it's not edible, like apple trees or whatever, it's not because like it won't grow, it's because they want to sell all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So like they keep it in their farms like to go straight to the grocery store and stuff like that, when I don't know.
Yeah, it's terrible, you know. It's like we could do things so much smarter.
Yeah.
But we don't, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's changing pretty soon, you know.
Yeah.
I like to think it's changing. Or at least we could do our part, but
Yeah.
I kind of feel I'm like out here kind of going la 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 la.
Me too. That's what I want to do. That's what I plan on doing. But
Yeah. And you can always remember too that Covelo will always be here, you know.
Yeah.
So you can go and adventure and travel, and then always have this be like a safe place to come back to.
yeah, definitely. When you're traveling, like some places, like the city feels really evil, and then you come somewhere like here, it's like, oh, it's still okay in some places of the world.
Yeah.
And instead of like keeping all the good stuff in one like farm, where like you'd have to hire someone to harvest it too. And if it was like naturally spread like how they originally were, then people would just be walking by, eating it, and like maintaining it without having to hire anyone.
Yeah, we could collectively work together.
Because it's always like, who are you gonna hire? Who are you gonna pay to clean up the like droppings or like? Because it's just gonna go back into the ground. Anyways.
Could be so much smarter.
Yeah.
We try, and you know, Covelo's not perfect. It has its stories, and you know, I feel like it's as above as below, right? And like so, Covelo is kind of like a microcosm of the whole world, and we have that full spectrum of like, you know, darkness and like amazing brightness here too. You know, it's not a utopia. We definitely have the spectrum here, but
That's everywhere. But it's like a smaller town is easier to see. I mean, easier to understand, to combat problems when you're like in a smaller town. And like,
you feel like you could really make a difference here, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I'm working on getting a bachelor's degree in psychology, so I can work as a school as a counselor here.
Yeah.
And like they always need help at the school. They always need help at the recovery project. Like they always need help at the library. It's really just a place where it's like if you want to come work and participate, like everybody just welcomes you with open arms, and that feels really good, you know?
Yeah.
And we're Good Loving Gardens. That's our farm name. I don't know if Brian's like, I'm from here. I'm like, well, you didn't even say who you were. Have you never seen a podcast before? I was trying to tell Brian to tell him who we were. Yeah, say his name. Yeah, you're welcome.
You can always introduce yourself at the end, and we'll just put it.
And then put it in the beginning.
Yeah.
I might go get a little water too.
Okay, I'll end it.
Thank you so much. What a great opportunity.